Good evening. We are a little frustrated on the sidelines. What about yourself? How do you view that? A frustrating evening?
No, being honest, no. I cannot be frustrated because I think the team today performed well. Even if what we wanted to was to take the 3 points, because for us was a very important step. I need to recognize that in some moment for me the team was performing really well. In the first half for me was one of the best first half that I saw of the team. And for me in the second half we didn't create the opportunities that we wanted to create. For me we spent one period of time where the game was more balanced. But for me what the team did today really well was to stop any type of option of attack of Birmingham. It's true that in the first half they had one big opportunity that O'Brien stopped the crossback, and a couple of problems that they create in the area of the left wing back with our right wing back. We knew that it could happen. In the second half they was more determined to be looking for this point, but I think the team was defending very concentrated with a lot of attention. And in the first half for me I was watching some brilliant action in attacks that unfortunately we couldn't finish. That will reinforce the idea to play. In the second half for me it's true that they balance a little bit more the game, and in the last minutes we have the opportunity to score, especially with the 2 chances of Campbell, and they were just creating the problems in our maybe wrong decision in the set pieces delivery. So it will be the only point that I can tell you that I will be disappointed, because instead to use better our deliveries we were creating some problem that creates some opponent counter-attack, Birmingham counter-attack, that create one feeling that they were balancing the game. But for me the team was playing with close to 70% of the time the ball, creating chances especially in the first half, and stopping any chance of Birmingham is something that I value a lot, these things.
I think a lot of people would value them and certainly accept what you say, Carlos, from a defensive point of view. After all, your team has kept 6 clean sheets now in 13 matches played in the Championship, which is quite something. But a home crowd wants a goal. At the end of the game, there were some moments at both ends of the field when your team maybe lacked a little urgency, lacked a little tempo in trying to get the ball in the right place to win the match. Was that intentional, or were there other reasons for it?
No, our target is to create the more number of chances that we can create. But it's true that sometimes the players receive the ball. So, for example, in some of the throwing, maybe we have the advantage to play fast and we pass back when we have the opportunity to attack. Of the deliveries, like I told you, the deliveries of the team, because we know that the deliveries of our team for me are enough good to can create more danger that we were creating today. So for me, it was more about the decision that can appear during one tough game after you arrive here after 3 competitive days. But for me, championship is a marathon, and when I am watching the team competing the way that we compete today, I have a lot of confidence in my squad.
Would you say, based on your analysis of tonight, it's possible to form the conclusion, Carlos, that defence is a priority? Would you say you prioritise defence?
No, I think it's very important to defend and to attack. If you defend well, but the price to defend well is not to attack, for me it's not positive, but I am not watching my team don't trying to attack. If I am watching one team attacking a lot but without defense well, for me it's no balance neither. I think it's very important to defend very well and to attack very well. One team that had today the 70% on time of the ball, it's true that what we wanted to was to create more chances and use better the time that we have the ball to create more chances. But it's true that we are playing against one opponent with an 5 that was not easy to create, that they were following a lot in all the spaces of the pitch. But for me, like I told you, in the first half I was watching the team managing very well this type of situation. In the second half it takes a little bit more time to adapt to the game. But after, with the competitiveness of the chances that we did in the pitch, especially with Campbell, and with the option of Sorba Thomas attacking higher, for me the team was able to create something else that will allow us to win that game. I think sometimes our analysis, not mine, but I don't want to make one analysis of the team depend about the result, because if we score the chance of Campbell, maybe we are talking about that everything will be very positive. What I have to analyze is the performance of the team. For me, in the second half, we didn't attack enough well. In the second half, we were creating some problems in set pieces that we had in attack, and this is the points that I want to fix with the team, because at the same time of these points, I was watching one team with a lot of concentration to defend one dangerous team. and with determination and personality to try to attack today.
And your substitutions at the end certainly changed the face of the game. Fraser Campbell coming very close, as you say, but Ollie Turton and his inclusion on the right towards the end of the match, was that a defensive substitution or was it for other reasons?
No, in any moment, because I was watching that Sorba start to feel unbalanced in the 1v1. I was thinking that in that moment we needed to have more players to run in behind, and as soon as Sorba was running in behind, we are not going to use the playmaker at that moment. That's why for me to add another player to can attack the right side, because for me it was advantage in the last minutes of the game. We had advantage of numerical advantage on the right side that we didn't use enough. But for me, with Turton is one player that always can have a high contribution for the team. Turton is a fullback that is a very offensive player because he can give you option in attack. He saw for example, the game of Blackburn, that he can have a contribution and impact in attack. In any moment we were thinking in defense, we were thinking to have one fresh player more that could attack when the ball was in front of him, and to put Isidore Holmes Sorba, one player that can have more 1v1, especially more movements in behind. And we wanted to use the right side to can increase the number of chances, but unfortunately we were watching a couple of times, but no every action that we wanted to have created today.
Very interesting, and thank you for giving us that detail, Carlos. Let me ask you about Josh Koroma, if I may, finally. We saw some of him tonight from the bench. Are you getting to a point soon where you can start him again?
I think all our players can be starting players. Always I consider this. We have one squad where the players that didn't travel today with the team are not in the stadium. They could be perfectly, some of them, in the first 11 of the team. So for me, Josh Koroma is an important player for us. Always is important to have him in the pitch or in the bench to help the team. But it's true that I have to analyze the performances of the players that are playing in the same position. And I think that we needed to continue having this balance, like I told you, between attack and defense. And for me, it's important to have players that can manage the ball in the last third of the pitch and use Koroma as one player that can impact more in the movements in behind in the last third of the pitch. So depending about the game, we will make a decision. But I am happy when I am watching the player that is playing his position, competing well, because he continue being an important player, and from the bench he is going to always to have an impact, or from the first 11 too. So for me, every player in the team can be in the first 11. Yes, our decision depends about the performances of the players and about the needs that I consider that the game can demand.
Depending on the opponent, in other words.
And us too. So sometimes it's like the performance, for example, for me, of the three players in the front of the attack, the previous game, Sinani Holmes and Danny Ward, was very positive, and I wanted to repeat the first 11 to give stability to one group of players that for me are competing really well.
Fascinating. Thank you for your time, Carlos. We're live on BBC Where It Leads, and we are going to speak to you again tomorrow ahead of the Bournemouth game, which is a very different challenge. Just remind us how little time you've got between now and then. What are the training, recovery and travel arrangements, given the distance involved?
Yes, we know that Championship have this type of situation. It's true that Bournemouth were competing yesterday. They're going to have one extra day, but we are going to go to Bournemouth trying to show again our best performances. We will try from tomorrow to prepare that game. And the positive thing is that we have enough players in the squad to don't suffer the consequence of the fatigue, and players that come with the freshness to impact one game, that we are going to go with all our determination.
Thank you for talking to us live on BBC Where It Leads, Carlos Corberán.